Hi, in this video we're going to look at the tonality and harmony used in Setwork 2, Mozart's Symphony No. 40 in G minor. Now, as you may have already guessed, Symphony No. 40 in G minor is in the key of G minor, but it's not quite that simple. Now, I'm sure you're very familiar with a modern pop song, which usually stays in one key for the whole song and maybe goes up a key, modulating at the end for that extra something in the chorus. However, a classical symphony is not like a modern pop song. It's very common for a composer to explore lots of different keys, making the most out of their material. Our Setwork is no exception. The piece starts with the first subject in the tonic key of G minor. In the bridge, the music modulates to the key of B flat major, which is the relative major of G minor. The music stays in the key of B flat major for the second subject and then the codetta, and it only returns back to G minor when we go back to the first subject for a repeat of the exposition. The development section is where Mozart really begins to explore different keys. The music here modulates 7 times, following a pattern called the circle of fifths. The development starts in the key of B flat major, but quickly modulates through the following keys: E minor, A minor, D minor, G minor, C major, F major, and then back to B flat major again. Notice how each key is 5 notes away from the previous key, which is why they call it the circle of fifths. In the recapitulation, the first subject and the second subject are stated again, but this time it's different to the exposition where the first subject was in the tonic G minor and the second subject was the relative major of B flat major. This time, in the recapitulation, both subjects are stated in the tonic of G minor. There is, however, some further exploration of new keys in the recapitulation, modulating to F minor and E flat major. The final section, the coda, is back in the original tonic key of G minor, and that's where the piece ends. The harmony in this Setwork is almost entirely functional, which means that it simply serves a purpose. It supports the melody and it also helps to modulate to different keys. As a result, Mozart's harmony is relatively simple and there aren't too many new concepts to learn. 2 concepts that you do need to remember though are cadence and pedal. A cadence is 2 chords at the end of a musical phrase that serves as a kind of punctuation for the music. The most common cadences that Mozart uses in this piece are the perfect cadence and the imperfect cadence. The perfect cadence is chord 5 to chord 1, and this is like a full stop. It always sounds finished. The imperfect cadence is any chord followed by chord 5. And whenever you end a musical phrase on chord 5, the music always sounds unfinished. It's kind of like having a comma, and you can't finish a sentence with a comma. You're always expecting something more, and that's what it's like with the music as well. A pedal is a repeated note that plays over and over again. And usually a pedal would be on the tonic, which is the first note of the scale, and would be at the bottom of the texture in the bass. However, if you play a pedal on the 5th note of the scale, which is the dominant, you call it a dominant pedal. If you play the pedal on a high note at the top of the texture, we call it an inverted pedal. Now let's listen to the Setwork and look at these harmonic features in more detail. So, the piece starts in the key of G minor, which is the tonic. The strings play a repeated D note in octaves, which forms a dominant pedal. In the bridge, the first subject is repeated, but altered to modulate to the relative major, which is B flat. The bass instruments of the orchestra then play repeated F notes, which is a dominant pedal, and prepares us for the second subject. The second subject is in the key of B flat major. Here we have an example of a perfect cadence in B flat major. Here, the harmony is a dominant 7th chord in the key of A flat major, but we never reach this key because the music continues to press on. Here we have another perfect cadence in the key of B flat major. A dominant 7th chord in G minor is used here as a pivot to link back to bar 1 for a repeat of the exposition. To save time, let's skip the repeat of the exposition and go straight into the development. The harmony here is chromatic. Have a look at the bassoons, which are playing descending chromatic chords. The music then lands on the key of E minor, which is where the exploration of keys begins, following the circle of fifths. The repeated A notes in the bassoons creates another dominant pedal. The piece then modulates back to the key of G minor for the recapitulation. In the bridge, the first subject is repeated and then the music immediately modulates to the key of E flat major. The music modulates throughout this short passage to F minor, then to E flat major, and then finally back to the home key of G minor at bar 211. The second subject is stated here, but this time in the tonic key of G minor. The piece ends with a series of repeated perfect cadences and then finally comes into land on the G minor chord to end. Okay, that's all the detail you really need on tonality and harmony in Setwork 2. Thanks for liking and commenting on this video, and click on that subscribe button below. Bye!